Yo, daddy,
Yes, son.
peg me. One man saying that is fine. If that's your opinion and you're not in it, that's fine. But there is an entire market of millions and millions of people that agree that it is a store of value. So, you can think one thing, but there's also a market, and markets tend to become efficient over time.
We do know that you will always get paid in Hex on a daily basis. And that is truly the miracle that we call Hex, because it is trustless interest, trustless yield. Nothing will stop that contract from running.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Creed of Crypto. My name is Blabbermouth Boy Crypto. I have here with me, as always, my friend and co-host Crypto Ewok. And welcome into everybody in the chat. We got Crypto 7 already in here, so welcome to you, sir. We have Checks My Pulse. We've got our own account. We have, God, Mick KC, his green color always blends in. I can barely read it. But thank you all for pouring in. We got a good show for you tonight. We are talking about Ethereum. Has it seen its last bull market? Since this past bull market was really, if you call it that, really not one to even speak of. For Ethereum, we have people selling Ethereum left and right. It seems to be the cool thing that people are doing these days. We have Davey Hoffman from the Bankless podcast writing, I think it was a 1,300,000 word essay actually on why he sold his Ethereum actually, and talking about the last few years, why he's doing it now. Then I saw lots of other people today. I saw a tweet from a big account earlier saying like, yeah, when it comes to Ethereum, I'm getting Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash vibes from this cycle. So I think it's just a thing of the past, and that seems to be the way that things are going these days. People selling their Ethereum and giving up on crypto entirely, which, hey, why not? I mean, it hasn't really done anything for years at this point, but it does seem a little weird to call the entire industry dead other than Bitcoin, and that's what people are doing. So we're going to get to that and a whole lot more. Check on prices. I say a whole lot more. I don't know how much it's really going to be. I mean, we're grasping at straws out here for things to talk about in the world of crypto. People are, not really here right now. We haven't seen retail for years, but there's a lot of macro headwinds, going in a positive direction. Will that matter? I don't know, but we're here to talk about it. So it is the last Wednesday in May. Ewok, how are you feeling this evening?
Yeah, we shall see. I mean, we shall see what comes of it. I'm good. Living life, staying out of trouble, and keeping the nose down and staying busy. That's all we can do right now. Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating, and I see people get more shaken by the day. People selling core things that they've held probably forever. It's frustrating. So, but yeah, I mean, just gotta, like I said, you got to make it through. I saw a quote that I'm going to read real quick, and it says, "The people who got rich in crypto all have one thing in common: they bought something nobody wanted. They held it through the pain nobody else could handle. They sold it to the people who laughed at them on the way up." So that is kind of where we're at. And it kind of goes, very deep into, how you get rich in crypto. So,
Yeah, you got to be embarrassed and look like a fool for quite some time. And hey, we have absolutely done that. So probably as everybody in the chat. So congratulations on being a fool with us here. And we'll see if it pays off someday. I don't know if it will or not, but obviously we're still placing our bets there. Otherwise we would have just sold everything and left at this point, which some people have done. which is totally fine if that's what they want to do. But yeah, I think we should just start with where Bitcoin and Ethereum are right now. And we are seeing a pullback today. Obviously, the bears that are calling for 35K in Q4 of 2026 are happy to see this, and everything is right on schedule for them. We have Bitcoin at 74.4K right now. Not looking great. ETH has lost 2150, which has kind of been around a key level for it over the last few weeks. It's barely hanging on to 2,000. That'll probably be gone by morning. So we got ETH just over $2,000 right now, continuing to absolutely plummet against Bitcoin and look totally dead. And obviously there's already people out there saying, well, if Dave Hoffman from Bankless sold, it's time for us to go up. I've heard that story before, but I guess we can see. But yeah, a lot of red kind of in the market today. And we'll just have the same conversation we always do, Ewok. It's been an interesting last few years. Bitcoin barely did a 2x it didn't do a 2x actually, from its 2021 high. Ethereum essentially did not make a new all-time high in the last 4 years at all. There was no altcoin season really at all to speak of. Crypto gains were diminished beyond belief, and only Bitcoin really did anything of significant value from one cycle to the next. So we're in an interesting time. I would say the majority opinion is, like I mentioned there, that 2026 will be the same as 2022 or 2018 before it, where we follow the roadmap. Bitcoin makes a low about 75-80% from its all-time high in Q4 of this year, blah, 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 like everybody thinks. And we'll see if that happens. Of course, the opposite opinion of that is, hey, we have been in an environment with hiked interest rates over the last few years. We've seen Fed pivot not only in terms of the interest rates, we've seen money printing with a whole lot more likely coming soon. We've seen the PMI readings, the business ISM come out with extremely bullish numbers, which has historically, meant a lot of good for crypto. But we've seen every other thing totally decorrelate and end up meaning nothing over the last few years too. So it's a weird time. Basically, probably more no man's land, I think, than anybody has ever really witnessed in crypto, with people really divided on both sides of the aisle as far as what we're seeing. So what do you make of where we're at right now? Bitcoin, is still over several key areas of support right now, which is good. Ethereum, if it is hanging on by an absolute thread. And everybody is selling it, and everybody is dunking on Ethereum right now. So what say you about where we're at right now as we are almost halfway through the year? It's going to be May. It already is May. May is going to be gone here soon. Sell in May and walk away, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, what do you make of where we're at right now?
Well, I disagree with the whole no man's land comment, only because I've seen no man's land before, and it's looked very similar. It's just in a bigger scale. More people have come into crypto over the last several years, and you get more people that you're hearing that, okay, it's dead, it's over, it's gone, it's never coming back. So it's more pronounced now because there are more people. But it was the same. It was very similar in all of 2018. The whole attitude of it is never coming back, it's dead. Seeing the same thing again, just on a larger scale. As far as Bitcoin goes, we're still in this trend channel that I'm calling it. And we are really just right on pace. And, I had said before that I do see a 72,000 area in here for it to bounce. I mean, that's just kind of what I'm expecting. Now, back here, it did drop a little below that. So, I guess it could go anywhere from down to even 70,000, 71-ish if it kind of came through there. But I do expect a bounce off of this and, continue back up again. And, we could get back up to 88, 90,000 by the time that plays out into this area. It is weird, though, how different now. It used to be that Ethereum and Bitcoin would move very close together. And, the trend line that Ethereum has really broken through and continues to go lower. So, there's not really any pattern or channel here to follow. I don't think anyway, other than if you draw a line down this way, it's still falling for some reason. We're not staying within a channel here. So again, quite interesting. Not really, the usual thing when you look at the two of these together and moving, and the ratio. Even though Bitcoin is coming down, Ethereum Bitcoin ratio is coming down harder. So I don't know. Is it the spring loading? Is it the arrow pulling back? I guess we just really have to wait and see. But usually when things become oversold like this, there is something bullish around the corner. We just don't know when. So
yeah, I guess we shall see. I'm trying to think of something unique to say about all this that we haven't said for a year, really, at this point, I guess. But yeah, not really moving around. Let's just to get to something that is kind of new is just all this Ethereum capitulation right now. It is interesting timing because it's at another, basically local low of Ethereum versus BTC. It's interesting that all these people are waiting to say this right now and not when prices for Ethereum were a little bit higher or with where we're at now. Obviously, the news last week was the bankless guy, Dave Hoffman, which, of course, everybody made fun for him crying on stream a few years ago, which I saw he made a big tweet about that today, too, actually, defending whatever that was. I didn't read it. But, yeah, he wrote a whole article that he posted to Twitter about why he sold his Ethereum. I don't know if you wanted to pull that up, and I can just read, like, the TLDR, just as a study, on what the broader market is kind of feeling right now.
He thinks it's an airport, and he's announcing his departure.
Yes. I feel so many different ways about this because, I mean, some people care and are like holding him, quote unquote, accountable because their whole show was built around Ethereum. I mean, that's all that those guys talked about for years, and now he's essentially out of it. And look, I mean, I feel weird, like totally being critical of the guy because he's probably done a lot better than you, I, and everybody watching this stream right now. But also, I think they probably sponsored and were involved with a lot of things that, we and a lot of other people would have the integrity to totally stay away from.
Yeah.
So there's that. But more so, this is just a study on like the timing of him bailing on Ethereum. And I saw that he was saying like, he basically says he doesn't think there's anything there for Ethereum price appreciation ever again. Like it's basically just going to range where it's at right now, which is exactly what it's done for the last 4 years. So it makes sense why he's saying that now, I guess. But and just I still believe in Ethereum, the network, just not anything to do with pricing or anything. But yeah, he said, yeah, we'll just kind of read the summary.
Where do you want me to go here with this?
No, you're good. You're good. You keep moving though, so I'm trying to figure out where to start. He said the TLDR is the ETH is money thesis, quote unquote, did not fail. It played out. Ethereum got the ETH price it deserves, and I don't see ETH being re-rated as an asset higher or lower. So it's just pegged to $2,000, I guess. I don't know. P.S. I am massively bullish Ethereum. I expect Ethereum as a network to do exceptionally well from here on out. I think only a marginal amount of that success will be reflected in ETH. So the network's going to do well. The price is never going to go up again, basically. So, or I imagine he thinks 4,900 is the end, and that's its all-time high. I imagine at this point. I mean, basically, he says it's never going to be re-rated higher, or lower. So, we're range bound between 2,000 and 4,900. So, I hope Richard Hart hears that, so he knows when the top of the market is next time around. According to Dave Hoffman, will be when we're at 4,900 again. But, I guess ETH's money was always a long shot. See, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I just feel a little weird about. Like saying a sentence like that now, you know what I mean? Like after 5 years of him following the thing, having a podcast completely dedicated to everything Ethereum and stuff. Well, this was always a long shot. You know what I mean? After it was like, we talked about this for 5 years and fought for the bags on Bankless constantly. And I actually, and I don't really follow these guys at all. I literally don't. But Ryan, his co-host, I don't think he feels the same way. I think I've seen a couple of his responses to Dave's posts, And I don't think he's in the same boat as far as how Dave Hoffman's feeling here. So I don't really want to read much more. I guess my question to you, Ewok, is why do you feel that he's wrong? Why do you think I mean, I've seen a lot of other people. I mean, it's just the shit on Ethereum parade basically out there right now. Why do you think this is happening now? What do you think they have wrong about it? And if you think Ethereum, I imagine, can go higher in price than its all-time high of 4,900, by how much? Because this was obviously a very disappointing cycle. So,
well, I think he's wrong about a lot of things. He's been wrong consistently throughout his career. I know he got people wrecked on Celsius, and it was a big promoter of their channel for quite a while. What was one of the other ones? There was a couple others that
I imagine they were involved with FTX. I think they probably had an FTX deal, I'm pretty sure.
Probably. So FTX and Celsius, and the reason these guys have done better, you made the comment, he's probably done better than we have, only because though the people that sponsored their show all were criminals. So yeah, they have done, but they've also led a lot of people to the meat grinder, and they don't really ever talk about that. So yeah, I think he's wrong. I think he has been wrong all along, and he just doesn't. I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's talking about, unfortunately. Again, it's just an opinion, and he could be right. Maybe ETH does never go up. Them fixing the fees, I think, could be a bit of a problem, right? One of the reasons why Ethereum went crazy the last cycle, or the cycle before that, was because people had to spend a shitload of money on Ethereum to transact, because of the NFTs, because of the very, very high gas fees. Hexagons, I think they spent $50 million just alone, ending stakes and making stakes and transacting on the network. So, hence the reason Pulse Chain was born. So, that kind of leads me down the path of, well, if Pulse Chain is always going to be extremely cheap to transact, how high can Pulse go, right? We saw what Ethereum did when its prices were very high, and it topped out at $5,000. Now, yes, we can get to a penny at least. I think with Pulse Chain, that's a great starting point. I think as the network grows and as more transactions happen, it will cost more money to do transactions, things like that. I just don't think this guy really knows what he's talking about. And I think they lucked into a show that had sponsorships, but again, they got a ton of people wrecked. So I don't give his opinion very much value whatsoever. I've never really liked the guy. He dissed our whole ecosystem. He doesn't like Richard Hart, obviously. Richard made a comment and it made him cry. So, again, it's just, he's one of those guys where I think he's overly emotional. And those aren't the type of people that make it through these downturns. So just my 2 cents.
Yeah. I was just looking up when the Bankless podcast started. It looks like it was early 2020. So like right before kind of DeFi, everything was taking off at that time. Yeah, and it just, like I said, some of the things he says, I just feel are so insincere. Like I saw somebody reply to one of his posts about this, saying, like, all you did was talk and shill Ethereum, or like that's what your whole thing was built around. He was like, yeah, man, that was 5 years ago or something like that. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it definitely feels like a pivot point. I mean, many other things have as well, but at this point, like people doing things like this and just completely giving up on it, just feels very wrong. Like that they are going to be wrong. Now, what that'll actually look like, I don't know, but I am willing to bet, and am in fact betting, that he will be wrong, that Ethereum never re-rates at a higher price again. I mean, I don't.
I don't see that happening either.
I don't buy it. Go ahead.
And Crypto 7 brought up a point, and I don't know if you brought this up on the screen or not. I was looking at the other screen, but 32% of the ETH, which is a third, is currently staked. So we know what happens when the majority of the tokens get staked and locked up. Now, I don't think there's too much of a there's not really a penalty if you unstake your Ethereum, like Hex, for example. So it's not hard locked forever or for a certain amount of time or anything like that. But the price tends to go up as things get locked up and put away. So, again, I don't think, I don't think this guy really, I think he's just kind of given up. Maybe they can't get any more sponsors.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if they've been doing the podcast for.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't follow them. So
yeah, I don't know if it's defunct or what. I just assumed they haven't been doing the podcast anymore, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The other part of the question I asked you is about the Ethereum price, though. He's basically saying it's never getting above 4,900 again. What do you think of the price mid to long term? Because 2026, I guess you could give your opinion there. I mean, I don't foresee anything parabolic obviously happening this year, but 27, 28, 29, assuming that it is a bull cycle of some sort, whatever you want to call it. What do you think? I mean, what do you think is a mid to long term positive price that we could see for Ethereum? Because with it really not doing anything this cycle, compared to what it had done in the past, I just wonder what it can ultimately do.
Well, I think the Clarity Act has a lot to do with this. I really do. Them not being able to determine any kind of structure or semblance of a structured rule, basically. And I think a lot of the people that want to tokenize these assets, whether it be the markets, the stock markets anyway, once they become tokenized, we know what network it's probably going to be on, right? I mean, Ethereum is the most longest and most solid probably network that there is, that makes the most sense to tokenize assets. If that happens, look out. I really think that the Ethereum price skyrockets at that point. So, again, the Clarity Act, a lot of these things are revolving around stable coins mostly. However, I think it also provides them, the clarity, the rules, the things like that, where you will see tokenization of real world assets more than what we're seeing now. So if that is the case, then yes, things could go parabolic very quickly. They want the Ethereum, especially if that's the network they choose to operate on. And I think that has a lot to do with it. So the ETF thing didn't really play out very much. And I'm not sure why, Bitcoin saw a much higher raise in price than, Ethereum did whenever its ETF started to roll out. So, I still see we break that 4,900. Was it last summer, last early fall, I was thinking that we would easily see a $15,000 Ethereum. And I still think that price target is reasonable. If we do get any kind of semblance of a parabolic run up, we just never did. It was a slow climb. It was a slow grind up for Bitcoin. It never really reached what I think is its top. And I think this has become a very, very long cycle. So I don't know. I see it breaking the 4,900. I think that could easily be broken through. You just got to get people interested again. You got to get something happening to draw interest. Prices going up is the perfect example. The problem is there's just no one here to buy right now. People don't have the money. So we need that liquidity. We need the people to pivot into some more risk on type of assets.
Yeah, and I stand corrected. Apparently, Bankless has been podcasting all this time. I thought they quit. I don't know why. But apparently they still are. And just this past Friday, they had an episode where he talked a whole bunch about why he sold his ETH. So I may listen to just that section of it anyway. So yeah, going to be interesting. And yeah, I do think, I mean, if we're looking at a time horizon of at least the next 4 years, meaning getting through 2029, yeah, I mean, I would say that, I guess if anything, I would say I'd be absolutely shocked if Ethereum did not at least get into the range of $6,000 to $8,000 in the next 4 years.
For sure.
Well, I mean, you say that. We were also for sure about easily getting to 10K this cycle. So, I mean, that said, though, I know you're saying for sure, but what I just said, I mean, I don't think the consensus opinion is that Ethereum is going to be at 10K in the next 4 years anymore. I don't think that's the consensus, or let alone 15 or 20. So, I mean, that's a positive thing, if anything. I mean, if people are starting to, I hope more people start to think like Dave Hoffman and are thinking that we're just range bound and it's never going high, higher than it used to again. And it's, for all intents and purposes, the price appreciation is dead. I mean, that would be good if that became the consensus opinion. And then, yeah, that would indicate that we actually have strong hands in it and that the price can actually go up again. So that would be good. So anyway,
there's always going to be weak hands, right? There's always going to be weak hands. You just got to get people a reason to buy it. And again, if things become tokenized, real world assets, it gives people the reason to buy it, to transact. Imagine if everybody's buying, 25 or $50 a week in Ethereum, just an automatic buy. I mean, people aren't doing that right now. So that makes a world of difference when your price is just kind of stagnating sideways. It is an accumulation rate. Someone said it's an extended accumulation period, which I agree with completely. I mean, I don't know if we'll see these type of prices again. I don't know how much lower it'll go. I personally think we've about bottomed out. If Ethereum keeps going sideways, but I think we've already seen the bottom. So who knows?
And I mean, if not, it's probably going to head down to 17, 1800 levels, 1400, $50, whatever. But yeah, I guess we will see. So I think that's pretty much going to be it for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Interesting to see where we're at there. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, do us a favor and just go ahead and tap that like button. We appreciate you being here. We do this every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at our Pulse Chain ecosystem. We are officially at the lowest price for Pulse in the history of our show, as far as the price that's been the current price as we're live on the air. So Pulse right now we have at 50697. We have Pulse X at 50538. We have Inc at 32 cents. We have Hex at 00115, eHex 000517, and ProveX continues to make a new low based on our show time. It is at 40458. So yeah, you and I, we were kind of DMing here over the last couple of days. I was telling you, like, I mean, for the Pulse token itself, actually, I mean, I know it's wicked lower than this before, but this is, as far as like checking prices live, it's really been the lowest for hours long periods that you can actually pull up and view the price for a while that I have ever seen it before. So again, I know it's wicked a little bit lower than this, but yeah, it's basically hanging out around a new low for an extended period of time. So we've talked about this level obviously for a while because we've been here for a while, and you've alluded to the fact that there's continued to be support here, and there's been a bounce, I mean, 5-8 times or something at this point. And now we might be ready to just go ahead and slash right through it. I don't know. So yeah, this is where we're at right now. Where do you make of where we are at, and do you think we, at this juncture, are still kind of waiting on, is there enough data in to know if we've bounced off of here or not? Because it looks like it's kind of going through.
Well, yeah, it's gone through. I drew a line on this support where we kept getting, somebody was defending that line, and you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one didn't quite, but 6, 7, and then it finally broke through. Now we're holding a little bit below. So yeah, I did draw this line on here to where it was being defended, and we are clearly below that now. So, you know, I don't know. Has the goalpost changed for whoever that was defending that price, or are we going to let it go a little bit lower and try and shake a few more people out? You know, I don't know. Now that it has broken through, I was pretty solid on seeing that for over a month of it being defended heavily, to now we're below it. So this could be a terrible resistance to try and break through now to get back up there. So I don't know. Things aren't looking good. Unless it does happen to get back up with a nice little candle here and then find support again. But right now, again, the structure, this line has been broken, and it closed. It did close below, I believe. Let me see what the close was. 6896. 689. Yeah. The candle yesterday actually closed below there. So let's see where this candle closes today. If it can get back above it and close, then we might be okay. But again, as of right now, this is, if this candle closes below, I do believe it could unfortunately go a little bit lower.
Yep. So that'll be interesting. Guess we'll see what happens there. Do you want to look at the ProveX chart as well? Unless you have any other thoughts on this one. I don't really know what else to say at this point, because
there's really not much else to say. I can pull that one up. Give me a second to let it load. I didn't think it was very exciting either, so I hadn't preloaded it. But we will share this one instead, and you can clearly see a nice line that doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon. I'm actually getting the itch to buy some of this. I don't know why. To buy some more. Like, I mean, I did take some nibbles up in here where I thought, well, it'd be a good place, but now we're reaching to where we actually got in at the sacrifice rate, and why not? We're not too far off from where it actually bottomed out, or where it started from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're basically there, and that's what we were talking about the last few weeks. Is would this level of like 4 zeros and a 4 potentially be the bottom? Because that's essentially the sacrifice rate of anybody who is in Buck's pool, like the best rate that you would have gotten by being in the top sacrifice pool for ProveX is dangerously close to where we're at right now. So I guess it makes sense that logically that would be a bottom, because remember, most of the people that sacrificed for this did it directly to the sacrifice address, and they're 55% down or whatever right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, clearly that's just an avalanche down for quite a while now here. So for most of its history at this point, it's been in that trend, which has been a little over 2 months. But yeah, I mean, you have to think 100% it's going to get down to 4 zeros and a 4 flat. I mean, I would think we're probably destined for there. We're virtually there. It's not like there's much more room to go. I just wonder when this thing does to curve around and move out of this. Every week when we talk about this, we talk about how, it was obviously a very low sacrifice raise of only $16 million. It is paired primarily with stables and Ethereum, whereas, the rest of the core tokens are all just kind of interlocked with each other, liquidity wise. And that ultimately this product of ProveX, which we still think the main site will go live here probably within the next couple of months. It's been beta for a while. That it's kind of like an advertising mechanism and an on-ramp into Pulse Chain and onto crypto. So wouldn't it stand a reason you would want the token price to look pretty good, which I guess there's still time to do that. It's only been a couple of months, but obviously with where we're at right now, resembles a lot of other sacrifice tokens. So what do you think of the bottoming out here? Yeah. And when are you planning on buying? Because I get it. I mean, this is a point when it's like, I don't know. I would feel like this is a bottom, but geez, I mean, there's probably
go ahead. Yeah, we've been feeling like it's been the bottom for how long? And again, I think I said this last week, it can always get worse. So let's see, what are we at now? What, 60, 73 days old. So yeah, I mean, it's not early. And again, these little blips, when time happens, this kind of goes away and gets shrunken down into like nothing. It looks like a little tiny blip. As time goes on, if it does decide to do something, this just becomes irrelevant. So I think any of the prices from where we, even at the point 0, 0, 4 zeros and a 5 area, anything now is a bargain, I think. So when would you take a shot? Well, I don't know. I think I would almost wait for some sort of signal of a turnaround, something, a green candle, any kind of something that would indicate that the worst may be over. Could be a fake out though too. This was a nice little run up, and I think a lot of people kind of was like, okay, here we go, let's and then all of a sudden that gets sold off too. So I don't know. I don't know if you wait or if you hear any kind of news on the product itself coming out, that would definitely be an indication that you should probably load up. I would think anyway. I will get as much as I can if there's an indication of a launch of an actual product. So I think that's maybe what it can take. Till then, we just kind of wait and watch. Yeah, I would need to see some sort of turnaround signal of some sort.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be a while, and there's all these markers always with all these things, and yeah, it would stand to reason, like you just said, that when the product is live, like, and I don't mean beta, but when the Prove X actually is launched,
Right.
I mean, obviously, there's going to be a spike in the token. I mean, we're going to see a move up. How long will that go, though? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just we've seen so many things, and I'm not criticizing Prove X or RH or anything. I just mean, as long as the macro tailwinds are not pushing people into crypto, then there's nothing that can be done. I mean, I just don't see anything that can be done. So, yeah, it's just, if you continue to believe in this stuff long term and you're DCAing into it, it's just a matter of widening your time horizon. You know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. So we can make these catalysts like, yeah, when it actually launches, when ProveX actually launches, yeah, that's when it'll start to go up. I mean, yeah, I think it'll probably even start to go up prior to that. And obviously even more when it does launch, and then maybe it finds a new floor. But yeah, I'm not looking for some singular event to show that everything's been turned around. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess the most interesting thing to me is, how low do you let this thing go? And I know we've asked that about the other core tokens as well. But I think with this in particular, because this really seemed like it's meant to be a catalyst for the ecosystem in a way, and again, kind of an advertising mechanism. So I don't know, if you're RH, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it all goes back to putting the risk in investing in capital that people will drain. I mean, it's clear right now that people are still selling. There's more selling happening than buying. And I think the risk of injecting capital at this point would prove to be costly. I mean, it's clear, right? I mean,
Yeah.
If it's going sideways, that's one thing. But as long as there's a downward trajectory, I think it's a waste of money to inject and give people that are clearly ready to sell at this price. Why would you give them a higher price, right? You want to wash that out. You want to cleanse it of the people that are just willing to dump it at any price, and without costing a fortune. Otherwise, you're just battling them the whole way. So, yeah, I mean, I think you clearly have to wait for sideways movement at the bare minimum. Like I said, this downward trajectory isn't stopping. It doesn't look like it's stopping or slowing down. The volume has definitely, pulled way back. I don't even know if it tells you how much volume is here. I don't think it does. There's probably a way to read the volume, but there's not much. There's not much in transactions. What do we got here? 58 million. Is that that's the fully diluted valuation?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, here, 66,000 in volume. I knew it was over here somewhere. So you have $66,000 in volume, which is nothing really. You know, a bunch of buys, bunch of sells, 30,000 in buy volume, 35,000 in sell volume. So, you know, I think once this number gets even lower with volume, and you do see about an even buy, even sell, and a sideways chart, that may be a signal to see what happens, inject a little bit. But again, you know, right now, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. You know, it's the what did Johnny call that? The daily delta. You know, all it has to be is $1 more of sells than buys to be a red candle. I mean, it doesn't take much. So, you know, I think you want to let kind of people get bored with it, and before you do anything like injecting any kind of that, in you know, any type of substantial money. And I think you really want to have a product. So,
Yeah.
you know, I wonder if there are people watching. I'm sure there are. You know, if we do see a sudden turn, it could be because a website has become active, or you know, there's people out there watching those little signals of when something is about to be turned on. You know, it may be a good signal that something good is about to happen. So, you know, definitely keep an eye out for that. It doesn't take much, and you know, we know there are people that watch every little thing out there. So, you know, it could be. It could happen very, very quickly.
Yeah, and again, you're not going to inject money when you're in these kind of tailwinds for sure. So I totally agree with that. But yeah, chart not looking pretty, but yeah, it is getting to the lowest rate that anybody who sacrificed for it had been at. So we're basically at the whatever you want to call that, the whale sacrifice rate, but it's really just the pool that Buck and Dylan started. So yeah, good stuff. I mean, not really, but interesting stuff there for Prubex and the pulse chain prices. So let's move on from there. Ewok, I'm going to let you call the shots the rest of the show, whatever topic you would like to go to, because you came far more prepared than I did. So if there's one in particular you would like to go to, we can cover whichever one that is.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the fear and greed here real quick too. I mean, the fear and greed, it's at 34. We haven't really checked it in a week or so. I know at one point a few weeks back it was up near 50. It has pulled back to 34. Again, just something I try to keep an eye on once a week when we're on the show. I don't look at it again every day or anything like that, so it's hard to remember where it was, but I do remember it was upwards of 50 a few weeks back when we were like, man, it's like a ghost town, and the fear and greed's at 50. It was just very strange, but you know, it is kind of coming back to where I feel like it should be, back in the 20s at least. So just to note that it's headed back that way.
Yeah, well, that seems like where it should probably be. So I guess that makes sense.
All right, well, what are we going to talk about? Let's talk about this one. I think this is news that everybody should, if they haven't heard already, probably should.
More negative stuff, but we've got Go Pulse, which I'll be honest, I mean, I haven't been to that site in like over a year at least, I would say, but didn't even know it was still operating. But Go Pulse will shut down, they say, on June the 1st. So if you didn't know what Go Pulse was, basically a way to look at the pulse chain prices. It was a portfolio tracker, I guess, which I don't think, or yeah, we used to use that. I haven't used it in a really long time. But yeah, it was a portfolio tracker. They announced that they are shutting down on June the 1st. They apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your support. We haven't used, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'm pretty sure we haven't used it for a long time. I know I have not. just because they had all kinds of different issues. It didn't work half the time, and we knew that they had that Go token or whatever, which they made profits off of. There was a hidden 3% fee if you try to do swaps through their platform. I think it was 3%. Just generally not a fan of them, and there were far better products out there. I think Pulse Folio is the one that I've been using for a really long time. I mean, if you have the balls to actually check your portfolio, I don't recommend it, but that's what I have been using, though, should I ever go into it. But yeah, Go Pulse shutting down. We've seen this kind of stuff, obviously, from Hex Scout in recent months, which, they were all kinds of indignation and whining and complaining and stuff on Twitter and demanding things of Richard Hart. Haven't seen that quite from Go Pulse, but nonetheless, it looks like they're shutting down. So what do you make of this, Ewok?
Well, it's just kind of ironic. And, out of all of the people that did a sacrifice of some sort, it is funny to see how many of them have little to nothing left, or have just shut down and gone away completely. So, it is sad. And personally, I'm very thankful that I did not sacrifice for any other token other than the core tokens. I mean, this is why, and people, often said, well, you're just a maxi or whatever it is. But as time goes on, that choice proves to be beneficial. I didn't lose anything to people that sacrificed, ran off with the money. We can name several of them. And I don't know if you want to go down that road or not, but there have been quite a few that did hold a substantial sacrifice for a token, for a platform, whatever it may be. And people thought that, well, at least they'll use it for some liquidity or something for their token, and that isn't really the case. So I don't know the specifics of why. I know it costs money to run a website like that, and when prices are down, there isn't a whole lot probably, and it's coming out of their pocket. So I get it, but again, they did raise, I think, close to, was it $2 million on their token? Not sure. I think it was right around there. I could be wrong. Correct me if in the chat if I'm wrong and you remember how much it was, but I do believe that it was very close to that number. So you would think they could run a website at least through a substantial bear market with that kind of profit. So anyway, seeing very mixed reviews. I know there were people that really liked the UI of it, which I always thought was pretty clean. It was very easy to navigate through, and I saw several people asking them to open source their code or whatever and let someone else kind of take over, which isn't a bad idea, but I don't see, I don't know, I don't really see that happening. But yeah, well, another one bites the dust. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's typical things you're going to see in markets like this. But yeah, I haven't really been using them for a while. And good comment from Duke of Booze. He says, I use their site. Great to see holders of tokens. Enjoyed Hex Scout for dealing with stakes. Sad to see them go. Great that there are other products, and we are resilient. And yeah, he's right. I mean, there's a lot of other. Again, Pulse Folio, I actually think is better than anything Go Pulse has ever done, and I've been using it for a long time. So, and actually, you can see your Hex stakes on there as well. So if you haven't, I think it's just plsfolio.com or something. I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I haven't even gone to it for so long. I don't want to give you the wrong website. As we know, there are so many bad ones you can click on out there, although all this is just something where you would import your addresses to see your portfolio. So, So Go Pulse is gone. And is Hex Scout actually down? I haven't been to it in forever. I mean, is it operable still? Can you still see your Hex stakes on there? Do you know, Ewok?
No, I haven't been able to for a while, especially with the mobile. I always liked the mobile version of Hex Scout. Yeah. Because it was a good way on your phone to just take a look at portfolio. Now there really isn't. Go Pulse had a if you would share the bookmark, you could get that to work as well on your mobile. Currently, I don't know of any that really work well for entire portfolios for both Ethereum and Pulse Chain. Pulsefolio is, but it doesn't remember your wallets. Like if you have multiple wallets to check, it doesn't.
Mine does.
On your mobile.
Yeah, no, I haven't been on it in weeks or months, and I think maybe my session got reset or something like that. But
well, and that's the problem. If you close the session or window, it does not remember. Pulse or Hex Scout was always good at remembering your all your different wallets that you have, and it would keep the portfolio together. Go Pulse would also do that because it gave you a code that you could enter, and it would bring them up no matter if it reset or not. So, we just don't have that right now. But again, it's not healthy to look at your portfolio all the time anyway. So, I would imagine as things change or, get better, that we'll have those toys again once it's necessary.
But I mean, keep in mind too. I mean, especially if you're using Internet Money Wallet, and because we're having like all these great wallet developments within Pulse Chain. I mean,
yeah,
you have pretty much all the token values on there. So I mean, you can just within your wallet see that. Now, yeah, you would need to toggle between networks so you can see that. But yeah, Pulse Beats. Like I've never had an issue with Pulsefolio keeping my addresses in there. I literally just hadn't been on it in a minimum a month. So, I mean, I can understand why they would be maybe no longer plugged in there anymore. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. So, yeah, good stuff. I mean, it's all right to see Go Pulse go. And that's the nice thing about crypto and some of these environments is, I mean, a better product usually comes out and better products usually end up winning in the end, whether it's wallets or tokens or portfolio trackers, So,
yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on that one?
No, but not on that. But speaking of tools and people building stuff, we go to this next topic, and I preface it by pulling up Crypto Coffee's video. So if you want to find out more about this, it's a pretty cool tool. I believe it is using the ZKX wallet. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So ZKX wallet has a function in it where Coffee goes through and shows you how to batch transactions. So he makes 3 different purchases, and instead of hitting the sign button, he adds it to a batch, and then he does it with another one, and then another one, and finally ends up with 3 buys and pays 1 gas fee. So, right now, Pulse is cheap, right? So, it's not a big deal. But I can see how this tool could be beneficial for people that want to do several transactions and buys all by one transaction. So not only can you send it to different wallets, you can do different things with it, but I just thought this was a very cool tool to be able to, if you're DCAing and you want $100 worth of 5 different things, you can add them to your batch and then run one transaction, and it will do it all at the same time. So I thought that was pretty cool. We've always been a fan of Crypto Coffee. He's been, a friend of the channel for quite a while. So go to his channel, watch this video. It's a pretty cool tool that is out for the ZKX wallet. So I thought that was interesting as well. Have you seen this?
I didn't see this. I've been watching some of his stuff lately. I just didn't happen to see that. But yeah, the ZKX wallet and everything that Liberty Swap, because that came out through Liberty Swap, everything that they have been doing has obviously been amazing. Obviously, there's also been speculation like, is there some involvement with Richard Hart and these guys or whatever? But I mean, not to anybody's knowledge. But the first we ever heard of Liberty Swap was kind of a stealth mention by Richard. Boy, I don't even know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. Point, 2 years ago.
It's at least 2 years now, I think.
Yeah. And speaking of them, this is very interesting too. It's just when you see these kind of updates from them, if you're totally bearish and can't find anything to feel positive about, I think that Liberty Swap's maybe the best account to be following, really, just because not just because of delusional bullish tweets or anything like that, but because of all these things that are going on that are presumably costing a lot of money to do, you know, and whether it is the ZKX wallet, which is a privacy wallet, or this right here, which is a Pulse Chain Keystone 3 Pro limited edition hardware wallet, actually from Liberty Swap, which is crazy. So I'll go back up a little bit real quick if you could. So they said, we are excited to announce a rare limited edition Pulse Chain branded Keystone 3 Pro hardware wallet. You can use the code LIBERTY in all caps, save $50 off the original $199 price, which that's pretty standard pricing for a good hardware wallet. Free shipping included, limited units available on @Keystone Wallet, and the link is below. So there you go. It looks awesome. Now, I've never dealt with Keystone. I've never used a Keystone hardware wallet. I have Trezors, which I love, and by no means do you have to get this wallet, but very cool that they have partnered, it looks like, and I've never visited Keystone Wallet, so I might do that right now, but very cool stuff from Liberty Swap. What do you make of this, in addition to their, you know, the launching of the ZKX wallet, the fact that Liberty Swap itself is even a thing, using railgun technology, and then all the other things they have in the pike as well. I guess I'll look at this. So it's one of the most respected hardware wallets in crypto. They have a long track record, battle-tested, zero drama. Unlike many hardware wallets that rely on closed systems and outdated user interfaces, Keystone focuses on transparency, security, and real self-custody. Key features: 100% open source firmware, fully air-gapped architecture, 4-inch touchscreen. That's huge, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to see what these things looks like. Triple secure element chips, Shamir, looks some kind of a wrapper, backup support, anti-tamper protection. What else do we have down here? Below that, there you go. Most hardware wallets feel clunky, outdated, and designed for engineers only. Keystone Wallet is different. Modern user interface, fast workflow, Web3 native design, both for users who want both security and usability without compromise. Perfect fit for Pulse Chain. The price is very reasonable for this level of quality and security, and they are right. I mean, if you're going to buy one of the newer, like upper echelon Trezors, I think you're probably paying a little over $200 at this point for one of those. And then they say Keystone 3 Pro simply works with Pulse Chain and our wallet. Fully air-gapped transaction signing with QR codes with the ZKX wallet. No network exposure required. Need a faster workflow, USB connectivity. It's also supported with ZKX wallet. Security when you want it. Speed when you need it. I got it. Nailed it. Boy, how many more parts of this thread are there? Most of the crypto hardware wallet screens are poor designs. I mean, this is insane. I've never seen that LCD, LED, whatever screen there. That's incredible. I've never seen that on a hardware wallet. They say one missed detail on a bad transaction and it's over. Keystone 3 Pro's 4-inch display lets you verify everything before you sign. That's crazy. You literally get the whole transaction as you would see it in a wallet on your PC or whatever on the monitor of the wallet. I have never seen that before.
And it's a swipe to confirm type deal, like your iPhone. If you have to open it or whatever, you fully have to swipe to confirm the transaction. So that's pretty neat too.
Yeah, that is. I've never seen a hardware wallet with that big of a screen, so that is awesome, and probably good for somebody that's newer to crypto too. I mean, to be able to see those kinds of displays. They say, in a world full of exit scams and drained wallets, real security matters. Keystone Pro 3 gives you what cold storage peace of mind without sacrificing speed or usability. Hold your Peacock, Hex, Pulse, and everything else safely. And if some scammer gets their hands on your Keystone, good luck to them. Anti-tampering kicks in, wipes your data, and bricks the device on the spot. No drama, no compromise, no mercy. We at Liberty Swap are all about freedom, security, and self-custody. That's why we love hardware wallets that actually work with real users, not just tech nerds. So pair your Keystone wallet with ZKX wallet for the ultimate Pulse Chain setup. So looks awesome. Cool. Like I said, I mean, I'm a satisfied Trezor customer. Don't get me wrong, but I've never seen these displays on these Keystone wallets. So very cool. Anything else you have to add to those?
No, might have to get me one. I am a big fan. I've always wanted a touchscreen type hardware wallet. You know, I myself have Trezor as well, and just it's tiny, right? I mean, it's just there's not much to it. I mean, it works, it does what it wants, or it does what it's made to do. But I have looked at these different types of hardware wallets before, and thought about pulling the trigger. I just never did. I love their advertising. Like, I love their memes and things like that. They just do a great job with their their marketing, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
I just think they do a great job. So I'm excited about this. We talk about it all the time. There are still people out there building. Pateus has gotten better all the time. You've got Rags, Brandon, his Build the Tech. Those guys are doing stuff all the time. There are people in the background that are building still. And it's just, there's a lot to be said for that, right? There are people that do see a lot of value here and think that this chain and this community has a long way to go, or they would not be spending the time building these tools for us. So I think it's good to see. Again, it's a very rough part of the cycle. It's hard for a lot of people, but just knowing that there's guys out there that are spending the money that they are. Meanwhile, there's GoPulse and Hex Scout and those type of things closing up shop. This is a good counter to that, to see that they're still building, still investing, and still believe. So,
and just a quick price check: the newest Trezor right now, it's the Trezor Safe 7, is retail at $249. So
there you go.
That's the newest Trezor right now. Now you can get other ones for a little bit cheaper, and I do love Trezor, but yeah, these look awesome. I've never seen an LED screen like that on the front of one of these. Yeah. So very, very cool.
Well, I believe at one point there was a Trezor that had a screen, but every time I would look, they were sold out. There is a make and model of a Trezor that has a touchscreen very similar to that. But like I said, every time I looked it up, it was always not available. They were sold out or couldn't get them or whatever the problem was. So,
yeah. Checks my pulse. You got it 4 inches is huge. Yeah. That 4 inches will satisfy anybody. As far as I've heard. So, awesome. So good stuff from Liberty Swap. And I agree with you 100%. Their marketing, their advertising, it's, I've said it before. They're the closest thing to like an official Pulse Chain Twitter account there is, I think. And we are very lucky to have them, and I'm grateful for everything they do. So good stuff, man. Any final thing you wanted to cover after that one?
I don't think so. I think we hit all the topics. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot going on this week. There was one more thing. We didn't talk about this, did we? The update to revoke.cash. I know a lot of people had tried to use it to pull the permissions from their wallet. It is good to do that every once in a while. And they had made comments that Revoke Cash was not working. It wasn't doing it. The permissions were still there. They did come out and said, hey, Pulse Chain, we got a fix for you. Sorry about the hiccups. It's all fixed. We're good to go now. So even guys like this that are mostly Ethereum developers, that's where this whole thing started. They're paying attention to our chain too. So yet another example of people that are listening, right? They're paying attention. They know there were issues with Pulse Chain and they fixed it. So I thought that was very good to see. They want people to stay safe as well. So it says Pulse Chain support after some hiccups with underlying data APIs we've managed to fix. Pulse Chain support with the help of Pulse Chain community. Stay safe on all chains. So that is a very nice update. Revoke.cash is now working again for Pulse Chain.
Yeah, and Revoke.cash, definitely a good site to periodically visit. You can safely, as long as you are on Revoke.cash and bookmark it and make sure you're going to the right site every time. You can connect your wallet and revoke any kind of permissions that you may have accidentally or purposely granted if you just don't want people to have potential access to I don't know, thousands of USDC you've got sitting there or whatever else. You never know what you may have clicked and agreed to sign at some point. So it's always good to revoke that stuff. And it costs pennies on the dollar to use. You just go in, it's just a simple little gas fee, and you revoke permissions from whatever site, whatever it may have been, to use your token. So good that they are, obviously Pulse Chain's been integrated and usable on there for some time, but cool that they're acknowledging Pulse Chain and working with us. So good on them, and glad to have them out there. So awesome. Well, I think that pretty much covers it tonight. Not a lot of stuff going on, but hey, we're about halfway. Getting another month, we'll be halfway through the year of 2026 already. Where we go over the next 6 months, a lot of people will profess to know, but no one necessarily does. So we shall see, and we'll be here when we can to cover it all. And appreciate all you guys in the chat. That's another cool thing. I mean, been a very active chat tonight for as not active as this market has been for quite some time. Appreciate all you guys being here. Don Swan checks my pulse. Valiant Low Key. Philly was here earlier. Tam Crypto 7. I'm thinking my scrolly's not working right now, but we had a whole bunch of people here. Here we go. Pulse Beats, Fish Cracker. We had Duke of Booze, of course, and a whole lot more. So we appreciate you guys. We do this pretty much every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for Crypto Ewok, this has been Blabbermouth Boy Crypto. We'll catch you next time right here on the Creed of Crypto. We'll see you guys.
See y'all.